Hello everyone and welcome to New Horizons Racing League Division 2. I'm your host Connor. We're here for the round 5, I believe. Is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm really getting
Round
confused. I've had a really long week. Round 6. Round 6 for Canada. We have 8 drivers tonight and I'm joined by Renault driver and race winner in the division so far. Slav King, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Proper excited to be racing in this track. Seems every year I keep on improving on Canada.
Yeah, I mean, historically, Canada is, I think even in real life F1, it always throws up a half decent race. And from what I've seen historically with league racing, it's always been kind of manic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we're seeing drivers going for gaps that probably are invisible to everyone except your average 17-year-old. But yeah, I've seen some huge crashes around here from people going to gaps that really shouldn't have been made.
Oh yeah, definitely. From my experience on this track, I'm surprised that I've not crashed out with the stuff that I've done.
Yeah, I remember in the Division 1 race I had a coming together with Championship Challenger at the time, Tijonis, and it was a silly mistake from both of us. I tried to go from these small gaps. I was like, oh, he's not going to think of me doing this. He moved over to, no, and he didn't even move over, we just made contact, and there was front wings all over the circuit. I pitted for the hypersofts, and I tried to charge down Division 1 runner-up Luke Beck, and Luke ended up winning that race. But still, with these Division 2 guys, I think for most of them it is completely uncharted territory. But we had practice yesterday, was it, from last night? And
yeah, with practice, everyone, well, not everyone, but we had Bradley, me, Tadpoles, Collins, and I'm going to be honest, I think Collins has got a good shout of winning.
yeah, he's been pretty consistent in his lap times from what I saw from it. I mean, it was like a 90-minute session. I was only there for like the first 45 minutes, so I stayed for halfway through the practice. But from what I saw with Collins, is that he's very comfortable as long as it's going to be a dry race, and I think strategically he has put himself out of qualifying so he can choose to start on a certain compound of tyre, just because he can make them last so much longer.
I mean, it's a bit of a gamble, but if it works off, then credit to him.
Yeah, if it works off, I don't think he can complain about a win, but he really does need to start actually finishing the races, let alone scoring more points, because Blaze Game, our championship leader, I think he's the only driver to be in the triple digits so far, and we're not even, I think we were in about a third of the way through the season now, after this race.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
let's ride on board with you, see what you're doing.
Oh, we're pitting in.
Damn it. Trying to see who's out on track. Let's ride on board with... Yeah, I've been riding on board with Tadpoles for a bit. I'm riding on board with Dragon on Speed now in the Sauber. Pretty tidy hairpin. Not fighting the car too much for control, he looks pretty settled in.
So I've got a lot of expectations for Tadpoles for today's race.
Yeah, well, I think with everyone it's like they're all confident because they've actually managed to put in some decent lap chefs today. They were putting in practice race runs, just getting to know the circuit. Some of them were exploring the curbs a bit, checking out how far the tyres would last. It was like pretty much a full 90-minute usage of pure practice and testing for them. So everyone's going to be pretty confident, but I don't know who's going to actually be able to pull it off. I think Blazed, I'd expect to win the race, but the podium, God no. I can't call second and third at all.
Yeah.
Well, who ended up setting the fastest time in practice yesterday? Because I left before that finished.
It was a close one between me and Collins. I think Collins won it.
like literally only just like thousandths of a second between it. The thing is with Collins though, I know he was doing a few laps, but I think I think his longest run was a 10-lap run. I believe we've got a 33-lap race, so no matter what tyre that is, I would have gone a little bit further, because you can get a pretty good gist of the grip of the tyres just from trying them out in qualifying, which is what I do whenever I league race. But in order to see how long you can push your strategy, you need to be pushing your tyres to the limit. You don't necessarily have to be quick, but you will gain so much time if you run your tyres to the carcass, and if you pit later on you have a supremely set of softs, so everyone around you will be probably doing the same thing of riding on heavily worn tyres, but the moment you pit on fresh rubber, you'll be lightning compared to everyone around you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think go for it.
Oh,
sorry.
So I think tyre strategies for this race will be very interesting.
From what I've seen, what is it? We've got hypers, ultras, and supers. The supers, I believe, it will easily do half race distance, probably 3/4. My personal recommendation would probably be ultra then super. I don't believe Canada's that high on tyre wear. All I know is that the ultras will only really last less than 10 laps. I think actually about 7 laps. So unless if you have damage or something, you want to try and recover yourself for a little bit of speed, then possibly go for the hypers at some point.
Yeah.
Just riding on board with Broke now. He's just come out the hairpin, but he took it really slowly. I'm thinking if he's just getting his car ready for another flying lap. And then look at the top 3 so far. Blazed at the minute is 4/10 clear of Broke, who is half a second clear of yourself.
So it's quite close.
Yeah, we're close, but even then it's like you two are separated by half a second. Then you've got Tadpoles in 4th, Dragon on Speed in 5th, separated by a 10th, literally a 10th, and you've got Deranged and Bradley that are separated by about a 1/4 of a second. So and if we've got Harley starting from the back, he starts a rapid anyway, but there should be some good battles on track today.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole season, we've been having battles from last to top 3.
I know we've had crashes at some point in the races and we end up losing half the grid by halfway through the race, but as long as everyone can keep it clean, I don't know why, I'm just hoping Canada's going to be a little bit better in terms of people not binning it, but the potential is for it to be really entertaining, which is what I really want people to enjoy. But with the main overtaking spots being at turn 1, the hairpin, and the final chicane, including the Wall of Champions, it can get a bit messy. I'm expecting a bit of front wing to be flying off, so people might be two-stopping and not by choice.
Well, if people are not careful at Wall of Champions, not going to be very nice.
Now, because the exit of the chicane is clearly it's right on the it's the bit that's closest to the wall, but because with that being the racing line, if someone crashes there, do you think that could be a safety car? I'm sure it will be a VSC at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it'll be blocking after.
Oh, Dragon on Speed I don't know if that was intentional, but he made a slight contact with the wall coming into turn 1, and his car has gone straight on into the runoff area. Don't know if he would have been able to go much faster anyway, but at the minute he's in 4th place starting on ultra soft tyres. Need to have a rundown of everyone so far. We've been going at quali for about 10 minutes now. Blazebug Gaming still set in pole position at the moment with a 1:09.6 on the ultra softs, but they're 3 laps worn, so might come back to bite him during the race unless he's got another set of ultras. Broke Gorilla setting a 1:10 flat. with the Hypersofts, but again they're 3 laps worn, so he won't be going very far if he starts on those tyres. Yourself, Slav King, on a 1:10.5. Let me just find out your best fitted time. Alright, apparently that graphic's not working for me. Dragon on Speed, as I said, starts 4th at the moment with a 1:11.8 on the Ultra Softs. Tadpoles will currently start 5th on Ultras of the 1:12.4, and Deranged Hypers with a 1:13.4. Bradley, the sole remaining Ferrari for this week, and the Hypersoft of the 1:13.6, and Collins, who has a free choice of tyre, having not taken part in qualifying. I can't even remember if there was a rule set into the league, and I made the rules where if every driver wants to... I can't even remember if we made qualifying mandatory. I don't believe I did.
Like yesterday, he did ask me if it was okay to retire, and I was like, I guess it's fine.
Because I know that you oversee everyone in Division 2, but overall I'm pretty much top dog when it comes to the league as a whole. But the way I see it is you can, but it's definitely not advised, so it could backfire on him, because he's going to have a little bit of traffic coming through the grid.
There we go, I managed to get past it range, so I was just focusing on that corner.
Speaking of something, there's more yellow flags out. Which Ferrari are we missing tonight? I think we're missing Owen, but I think he's already given his reasons, so we should see him next week for when we head to France.
France is, I just like how we've got my 2 favourite tracks, Canada and France.
I don't mind France, but it's like the track layout is fine. If anything, I quite like the track, but the grip around there is it's stupidly high.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's such a bit of a mind-boggling thing, because you know whenever you run off track limits, you expect the car to go really bumpy, and you're not using tarmac anymore, and you expect the car to end up crashing. It's so weird. So when you lose track limits around France, it's what they've done is all the runoff is a different type of tarmac, where the blue area is kind of it'll give you a little bit more grip, and then the red is it will give you supreme amount of grip, so it will give you more car control to get away from the barriers, which I don't really agree with personally. I think if you make a mistake, you should probably hit something.
Yeah.
We're still blazed out on another flying lap now on, I believe, another set of Ultras. I was going to say, even if he is, I think he's going to get pole position without a doubt. But unless he's able to beat that time, he'll be starting on quite worn Ultra Softs. I know it's only 3 laps, but that'll make a huge difference for when he's trying to push his stint later in the race. And whatever compounds Harley can start on, I think there's about 5 guys that are in shot of a podium, realistically. I think people like Deranged and Bradley are just going to have to pick up the pieces if anything happens.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, we may have probably 3 finishes.
I hope not, and if we do, I hope it'll be late on in the race. I can't do another Baku, my throat doesn't have it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think he's just started his final lap now. I think he must have been on board with his outlap. While he was going around, I believe Broke is on a actual flying lap. So let me see if he is... lap date. Yeah, Broke's on a flying lap at the minute.
Just so you know, this really doesn't feel like a street circuit.
Yeah, it's like... I know it's on a island. I can't remember if the island's like man-made or not. But it's like the perimeter road of the island. I don't know if it's like some kind of park or a lake district, but it's the same with Australia. But Australia, it's like part purpose-built and part street circuit, which is what the Hanoi circuit when we head to Vietnam next year is going to be. But to me, is unless if there's any road markings on it, then I don't believe it's a street circuit. Street circuits are like Baku, Singapore and Monaco. Anywhere else, it's just like Nah, I don't believe it.
Yeah, because I think it was start of this year that I came to acceptance that it's the street circuit.
Blaze spun, apparently. That's really going to hinder his tyres, especially with only 1 minute, about a minute and a half left, and broke getting pole position on the Hypersofts. Fair play to him, really rapid lap. But on
1 minute 9.
yeah, it's 1 minute 9.4. Blazed is 2/10 behind, but he's either, I think he's on his new set of Ultra Softs, but if he has spun, they're going to be really heavily worn by now, so I don't know if he'll be able to beat his time.
Yeah.
And if he can't beat his time, then either way he'll be starting on 5-lap-old Ultras, so it's a little bit of a messy situation for him. I mean, his car control looks perfectly fine. But I'd recommend just pitting and retiring from the session as soon as possible, just to save him any bit of tyre life that he might have left.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just invalidating the slap because I'm not going to be racing up with these tyres.
Are you just... Oh, sorry, there was a little bit of lag spike from my end, but are you going to be starting on a different set?
Yeah, it's a different set of hypers.
Oh, so are you on a new fresh set of hypers?
Yeah, and I've just run out of fuel. Oh dear.
Find somewhere to pull off to the side of the track and retire. I think Blazed is the only person who's realistically pushing on a flying lap now. But we'll ride on board with him and see if he can reclaim his pole position. But he'll be, I can't imagine starting. If you're starting on 6-lap-old Ultras, it's going to be... it'll be too much tyre wear for my liking. And bear in mind, you got the formation lap as well.
Well, I'm hoping to be pitted in lap 7, like I did in Div 1. See if it goes well from there.
Would you say Canada's a 2-stop or a 1-stop?
I'd suggest it be more of a 2-stop track.
I think a 2-stop's possible, but I would say only if you really need it. And if you are 2-stopping, you wouldn't need to touch the super softs. He's clipped the grass on the entry into the chicane. Yeah, that was a bloody good exit. He doesn't get pole from what I believe. No.
Yeah,
so Broke Gorilla gets his inaugural pole position in New Horizons.
It's quite rapid, he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad driver. His driving's perfectly fine. I didn't realise he had this much pace in him, so congratulations to him. Right, starting grid. Broke Gorilla starts on pole position in the Red Bull. Red Bull Toro Rosso. Blazed by Gaming setting second place in his Alfa Romeo Sauber. Third place is South King in the Renault. Dragon on speed, and fourth place will start for Alfa Romeo Sauber. Fifth place will be Tadpoles for the other Renault. Deranged will start in sixth place for Force India. Not a bad qualifying for him. And seventh place will be Bradley in the Ferrari, taking on sole Ferrari duties today. And Collins will start in eighth place, having not set a time in qualifying for Mercedes. I'll see you guys again in the race.